Welcome to Witham Sounding Board, a podcast sharing powerful business tips, insights, and trends for those seeking to become a rock star in their industry.
Good day and welcome to Witham's Lodging Insight and Innovations podcast. My name is Lena Combs. I'm a partner here at Witham and the practice leader of the firm's hospitality services team. Today, I have with me Dale Tuttle, who's a partner in our Digital and Technology Transformation Advisory Services group. Welcome, Dale.
Hello. Hi, Lena. Good to speak with you again. My name's Dale Tuttle. I'm one of the partners on the Witham Digital side. We are tech consultants, providing we're helping clients move to the cloud and adopt the important technologies that are part of some of these platforms.
Great. Thanks for being here. So today, Dale and I are going to be talking about Power BI. So first question, Dale, what is Power BI?
Yep, Power BI is part of I was going to say Office 365 family, cloud platform, but I think I'm supposed to say Microsoft 365 now. It changed the name on us, Lena, to confuse us. So it's a data analysis tool. It's part of the Microsoft 365 platform, and it's really interesting in a couple of ways. It's very powerful, and it also is built for business users. So the design intent was business users to work with their own data instead of constantly running to IT or somebody, kind of a developer, to create a tool that could analyze and visualize their business data. So fundamentally, it's very similar. I'm going to mention a couple other tools. It's very similar to Tableau or Qlik. There are lots of tools that are out there on the market, but this one is part of the Microsoft 365 family.
Okay. And so Dale, tell me, why is data visualization important for our lodging and hospitality businesses?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities across any industry, right? In other words, anybody can benefit from having better visual access and visualization of their core operational data. The focus is to make it easy to get the type of data and analyze the types of data that make most sense to you. So why I think it's important for this industry in particular is because it tend to be a little bit slower in adopting some of the technologies that might be of use to them. And Power BI is one of those tools that you'd see enormous value on doing anything. It might be just the financial operations of your properties. It may be just financial operations of the parent group, but you can drill down into any dimension of the data that makes most sense to you. Well, and so I think for the hospitality industry itself, there's just such a rich opportunity of going and, looking at the data and cutting and slicing the data based on anything you want to do. And Power BI provides that opportunity to the industry to really drill down and understand what's happening in their business.
That's great. So my understanding of the way these types of tools work is that you can take data, business data, from all sorts of internal sources. It could be different software packages, different systems, and combine those to create a dashboard that's relevant to a user, which would be different than maybe a different user, depending on what those users need to see. So can you tell me a little bit about that process and the customization and how it really benefits everyone across an organization, not just particular roles, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, let me parse that out a little bit. First thing you said was really important. A lot of times what people get fixated on when they have a tool like Power BI, maybe it's a different one like Tableau or some of the other ones that are out there, Looker, they tend to want to just go analyze data from one source. What people tend to forget is you can bring data from multiple sources. Maybe it's data from the accounting system, this data from the properties, right? Whatever those data sources are, you can mash them up in Power BI and then create a report based on what you need to see. What happens a lot of times, though, is people forget that they can bring data from multiple systems and what they do is they'll get numbers from system A, get numbers from system B. They'll create a spreadsheet, right? That's really a combination of all these things. Not realizing I could attach Power BI, bring those data in directly, create a data model, it's referred to as a data model, and mash those data together, and then create any type of report and or visualizations or slicing, anything you want to see based on that combination of those data from the different systems. That's very powerful because every business has the problem of data is stored in separate silos. I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and that problem existed 20 years ago and it exists now. Data are still stored in multiple systems.
Right. And so is this a combination of both historical data and real-time data? How do those two pieces kind of integrate together and present themselves on a single dashboard?
Yeah, you can look back as far as you want to. That's a prescient question because what happens, I think, in most businesses, once they start understanding what they can do with the numbers, then they realize you need people who are really good with data. So it depends on the type of business question you want to answer. In other words, if you want to predict what's going to happen in the future, you're going to need a lot of data from looking backwards, right? Then you can build a forecasting model. This is a statistical question more than anything else, but Power BI supports this type of advanced functionality. It can predict. But to do that sort of stuff, it's much more advanced, and you kind of need to know a little bit about data modeling and data science, as we refer to it as. And Power BI just becomes the manner by which you make that stuff happen. But if your business is really depends on forecasting, in other words, this quarter, how does this quarter look against quarters that go way back? Yeah, you're going to need a time series. You're going to need enough data, look backwards facing data, to be able to make those predictions.
Right. So how can our lodging companies use Power BI to help improve their business? What are some ways that we would see improvements from implementing something like this, or a data visualization tool?
Yep. I would say the first thing that people do is it almost always starts with a spreadsheet. There's probably that one or two or three killer spreadsheets that everybody's using in the business. What we recommend people do is use that as a data source to get familiar with what Power BI can do. Don't try to replicate the whole spreadsheet. What you want to do is take key elements of that spreadsheet and then see what Power BI can do. Because remember, what Power BI offers is a way to visualize the data and interact with it. So you need someone to help you understand how to implement those slicers, and you pull a switch or you filter the data on some parameter. You need to know how to do that in Power BI, and that's very, very important to your business because you can make that report look the way you want it to look and tell you what you need to know. So we recommend start with the spreadsheet that you're using now, but that's the one that everybody's using. But here, and this is the big caveat here, you do not want to continue using the spreadsheet as your data source. You want to connect directly to the source of data for the spreadsheet. Power BI actually helps you get rid of the spreadsheets, but that's kind of on that maturity curve. That would be step number 2, is getting rid of the spreadsheet.
The security blanket, right?
It is. I mean, come on. Excel is ubiquitous, and it's ubiquitous because it works, and we all know how to use it. And it's going to always be there. But as a data source, it's not a great tool because what happens? They get out of sync, right? There's going to be 12 versions of that spreadsheet floating around. Are your numbers from the right spreadsheet? If you're pulling directly from the data source, you know that you have the real golden data, so to speak.
Right. Good point. And I would imagine that somehow beyond just numbers, and we've talked a lot about the ability to do forecasting and look at numerical type of data, right? But also, how could the Power BI or a similar tool help sort of understand guest trends and customer data versus just the numbers part?
Yeah, pretty much anything you need to know you can do with Power BI. In other words, you can create your own independent measures. You can create like thresholds. In other words, let's say you're getting data on customer satisfaction. You may want to set your own threshold about when should I worry, right? You can create that threshold and you get an alert. Hey, your customer sat for this quarter or this week or whatever is trending downward. So that would tell you that you have to do something, right? It may trigger some other business process, not even automated, just that you do something, right? But then there's other things you can do with Power BI that go beyond just data. And those things are like setting goals and measuring goal attainment over time. So this is an advanced feature. It does require, pardon me, a special license, but you can set goals for a property, but even for departments within the property that they're going to attain certain levels of, say, customer satisfaction or whatever your measure is. You can have that, and then Power BI tracks your attainment of that goal. So this is actually a new feature that they rolled out less than a year ago, and it's quite interesting, and we've adopted it right here at Witham. We're using it at Witham Digital for our goal attainment on a quarterly and then an annualized basis. And I should probably mention, Lena, that Witham as a whole, as a firm, we use Power BI to run lots of aspects of our business, as you well know.
Yes. And that kind of brings me to my last question, or presumption maybe, is that implementing something like this really takes someone who's knowledgeable, maybe having a partner, right, that helps with that process.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, now the interesting thing I think I mentioned to begin with, the tool is designed for business users to use. However, you will reach your level of comfort with the tool fairly quickly. And to use some of the more advanced features, you're going to probably need a partner. So what does that involve? Usually you need someone like Witham to do that foundational training with you, right? This is how this thing works. Then you start working on your own data, and then our team usually starts up. We're doing a lot of the work. Then over time, our team recedes into the background because, again, this is built for business users. And they will gain familiarity with how to use it. And then our team would move into the background. So that's what you're looking for, is a partner who understands that life cycle of Power BI support. The partner should be up there with you at the beginning. And then afterwards, once you get familiar with it, just helping you with the advanced things and new features. That's the other thing. New features are being rolled out all the time, so you need a partner to help you understand and implement those as you're going forward.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Dale, and talking about Power BI and even more specifically, data visualization. And I appreciate your time, and I look forward to the next time.
Well, it's my pleasure, and hope to talk to you soon.
If you have any questions about today's podcast, please reach out to us through witham.com/hospitality.